Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, and welcome to the podcast, and a very happy Easter to you, whatever you're doing this bank holiday weekend in the UK. God, I hope the weather clears up a bit. We always talk about the weather, don't we? I'm so lucky to have had a couple of days away on a bit of a retreat, doing a bit of a detox, and it really was a fleeting visit. I mean, in an ideal world, when it's spring, you would do a proper detox, and I only managed 2.5 days. But it's amazing, what you can do in 2.5 days when you kind of have a bit of a reset and focus your mind on the good stuff. So it's great. So I kind of reminded myself of all the good things, the correct way to eat, and I did some amazing juices and had a wheatgrass juice and had a wheatgrass face mask as well, which was great. And yeah, just a fantastic reminder that we can look after our own health and well-being. It reminded me as well that I'd been to the same detox center a good number of years ago when I was still drinking, and oh God, I remember how different it was, how different I felt. That it's funny when I think back, because I would go away when I was drinking all the time. I would go away on something like a retreat, or I'd go off to Jason Vale's juice retreat in Portugal, and it would almost be like a relief that I wasn't going to be drinking. There was no alcohol there. I was on juices or raw food or whatever it was, and it really was a relief. It wasn't difficult, not at all. There were no difficulties in not drinking. I mean, it's weird when I think back. How could I not have seen how powerful that was when you are taken out of your environment where your habits are, repeating themselves, into a completely different environment where you're focused on the good and you're focused on putting great nutrition in and well-being. Don't give a thought to alcohol. I mean, not a thought. I could not have, if something odd had happened, and in the middle of one of those juice retreats 8 years ago, Jason had said, "Oh, let's have a sneaky glass of wine." I said, "You have to be kidding me! It would taste disgusting." There's no way I'd have done that. And yet I remember that I did those retreats, and then I'd come back home, and really within a couple of days, I'd allow the anxiety to creep in and the stress to creep in, and the voice in the head would say, "Oh, you know how you sort this one out. You have a glass of wine." It's all thoughts. It's those limiting beliefs and those thoughts that hold us back. It really is. And so this time, to be able to go on a retreat, with my new sober identity, fully embracing that I'm just going to be looking at other aspects of detox. It's amazing. On that note, by the way, a really top tip, which I'm sure you've heard me say before, but if you are in the early days of ditching the booze, then absolutely make yourself a green juice, because nobody can drink alcohol after a green juice. Well, any freshly squeezed juice, really. But if you have a green juice, and I really mean, grab yourself a juicer. If you don't already have one, go and get one. I mean, they're really not expensive. Get one on eBay or even, they sell them everywhere for kind of 40, 50 quid. Or just get a second-hand one. And you want, really the juicer that you're going to use every day. So a whole fruit juicer really is okay. And you stick in a bit of an apple, small green apple, some celery is fantastic, cucumber, just some chunks. Fresh ginger is amazing. Half a lemon, whatever you got hanging around, bit of spinach, bit of kale, bit of courgette. It's all good. Juice all that through and serve that over ice. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Straight to yourself. The goodness straight to your cells, not to yourself, but to yourself as well. It really is amazing. You feel like you've been plugged in, and there's no way you can drink alcohol after that. It would taste disgusting. So it's a top tip. Prep it ahead. Stick it in the fridge or the freezer, but leave a little bit of space at the top and keep it airtight, and then it'll keep for a bit. So I've come back all enthused again about great juices, and in the Sober Club we're going to do a juice shot challenge. So this is something we do from time to time. So if you want to be part of that, join us in the Sober Club. We'll give you all of the instructions. We keep it very simple. But yeah, it'd be great if you wanted to be part of that, that little challenge. Join us in the Sober Club, and for many other reasons, obviously. Before I get into this week's guest, who I decided to do a rerun actually of an interview, because I figured I'm going to be thinking about all this kind of optimum health and well-being stuff and detoxification. So I thought I'm going to rerun an interview for you that I did just over a year ago, I think, with the Happy Pear. So you might have heard this interview before. You might have heard these fun guys on the podcast before, but you won't mind hearing it again, I'm sure. So you're looking forward to rerunning that for you. But just before I do, a quick mention for our events. Connection, it's so important, and I do things online. I do stuff online for the Sober Club, obviously. We occasionally do family constellations online. I do one-to-one coaching online. So, I'm good with doing stuff online, but you can't deny that when you meet someone face to face, it's different. There's a different energy. Of course there is. And I fully appreciate not everyone can get to events, but if you can, and all that's holding you back is just a little bit of fear, or, can I really spend that money on a ticket? Come and join us, come and have that connection, because it really will make so much difference for you. So the first thing we have coming up is April the 10th, Wednesday, April the 10th. And that's a live podcast recording. Well, we're live in person, but the podcast is being recorded live. And my guest is Michael Sargood, Happy Without the Hooch. He's very funny. Hoping I've got another special guest as well, but we'll share more about that later. We're going to be at Club Soda, the alcohol-free bar and tasting room. So you get to taste amazing alcohol-free cocktails. The ticket includes a discount on purchases as well. So if you did want to buy some of their incredible offerings, of which they have many, then you would be able to do that. So it's Wednesday, April the 10th. To get tickets, if you go to thesoberclub.com/events, or go to thesoberclub.com and click on the events in the menu tab, and then you'll find the link there. Or just look at the show notes for this podcast. It'll be so lovely to see you. The last one sold out completely, so don't leave it too long. And it's a lovely opportunity to meet like-minded people in a totally informal, non-judgmental setting, so you can bring your friends and introduce them to the wonders of the alcohol-free drinks. I remember last time I was there, I had the most fantastic espresso martini, alcohol-free espresso martini. It was absolutely amazing. And who would have thought you could just sit at a bar in central London and have that? Really amazing. Times have changed. It's fantastic. And then we have a couple of workshops coming up. So Saturday, April the 20th in Hertfordshire, 25 minutes from London Euston on the train. We've got a vision board day. So it's a day all about empowering you to focus on what you want for the future. So this works for anyone. If your early days of sobriety is perfect for visualizing your new identity and just really getting clarity on what you want, ditching the limiting beliefs and moving forward. But if you've been sober for years, equally, you can be focusing on the next thing, or you can be having a look at, are there any bits of baggage that are kind of holding you back? What can you focus on that will really help you feel empowered and feel full of clarity? If you have a business, it's fantastic. If maybe you're a therapist or a coach or a practitioner, or you have your own business, it's really brilliant for that. So come along and experience the vision board workshops. Tiny little group. The day includes a short kind of like a breakthrough coaching session as well. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. So it'd be lovely to have you involved in that. Come along, have a look at the website again, thesoberclub.com/events. And then the following day, Sunday 21st, is family constellations. And, I've tried a ton of times to explain it, but there is a blog post on the Sober Club, which kind of has a go at explaining what it is, gives some testimonials, introduces you to a couple of the books. And I've had some brilliant people on the podcast as well. But again, if you've heard the name and you've thought about, maybe I could move on from some entanglements, from some stuff that holds me back, then come along. You don't need any previous experience. It's a really empowering day, actually. And you really, most people leave feeling just, I don't know, so much more open-hearted and feel like so much more is possible for them. So if you want to do both days, drop me a message, I'll give you a discount. It'd be lovely to see you. So that's 20 and 21st of April for the dates in Hertfordshire, and 10th of April for the event in London. Oh, and then the Champneys retreat is all booked up now, or it's rather not booked up. It's open to, if you do want to come, and that's the 18th and 19th of May. So that's Champneys in Tring in Hertfordshire, 18th and 19th of May. Again, all of this is on thesoberclub.com. Click on events. So it will just be so wonderful to meet some of you in person, and I really hope we get a chance to do that. You know, for those of you, by the way, who you know, you're in a different part of the world and that's not going to happen, it's okay. We'll carry on doing the online stuff. In fact, I will do a constellations workshop online as well at some point in the future. Once we've got this one done, we'll think about doing an online one. So if you are somewhere else in the world, you can still experience this amazing work. I do think it's incredible how people stop drinking and then so much more opens up to them, just so much more. I could never have imagined that. You know, when I think back to when I was drinking, I mean, nobody tells you that stuff. Well, they didn't then. We are now, fortunately. There are so many of us now talking about this good stuff, telling you just how amazing it is when you can be all of who you truly are. And no, that doesn't mean that life's going to all be rainbows. It doesn't work quite like that, does it? But you can be the authentic you. And there's such a magic in that. When you can, I don't know, just wake up feeling centered, feeling that you like yourself, feeling that everything's going to be okay. That's massive. And that, if you could bottle that and sell it, you know, I think more people would stop drinking if they realize just how much it changes you and how much it gives you the clarity to be able to go after the next thing and the next thing. And I don't mean that in a kind of a always dissatisfied way. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that for most people, they kind of uncover layers. So it's a bit like you shed a few skins, you know, and you uncover the first layer and you start to realize what might have been getting in the way. What was at the root of why you started drinking? Sometimes we can look back to trauma, whether that's with a big T or a little t. And that's the stuff we do in the coaching work I do and the constellations. We actually sift out some of this trauma and we find a way of working with that so that it's no longer a strong emotional charge for you, so that you can focus on what you want for the future. And it's just brilliant how people, their whole lives open up and they start doing all these amazing things. I've met a woman who went traveling and then completely changed career, and then her world opened up in another way, and then she did some training that she never thought she would do. And I meet these people all the time, and it really is just wonderful how you get that sense of excitement about the future rather than that sense of foreboding, which certainly I used to have. I used to be terrified of getting older, that whole thing of, oh God, you know, everything's only going to get worse. And I don't feel like that now. I feel incredibly grateful that I can get older and still do it, where every year of sobriety gets better. Every single year really, really does. So anyways, here is another chance to hear the lovely guys.
Well, I'm so thrilled. I've finally got the Happy Pear. Actually, the pair of them. How lovely to see you guys.
Thanks, Janey.
Just brilliant to see you. Looks very cool there in your little studio. So we got Steve and Dave. Tell us a bit about your background then, because we know you from books and all the stuff you put out. And then, of course, if people are lucky enough, you've actually got like premises and everything.
Yeah. So yes. So first and foremost, lovely to be here. Thanks a million. And we're identical twin men now. We're 43 years old. And we grew up in a small little town in Greystones, so it's by the sea, east coast of Ireland, 20k south of Dublin. And we grew up in, two brothers of four boys, went to all boys schools, and as identical twins, we were overachievers. So by the time we were 18, we were playing semi-pro and rugby. We were both off scratch and golf, and we used to do modelling because it was a good way of meeting girls. And it was social credit.
And alcohol was kind of just a general part of the social if you would. It was a given. It was never questioned. It was just, you drank for more confidence. You drank to fit in. We went to an all boys school and played a lot of rugby, as we said. you drank to kind of fit in with the lads, and then you drank to kind of prove your masculinity, if you
But
will.
it was mostly you drank to meet girls, because it gave you confidence to meet girls, because we were a family of all boys schools. Alcohol was the only cue to, make you integrate. So it wasn't until and that kind of continued on until we went to university and studied business. And then when we were 21, we ended up we just finished college, and Mom bought us a ticket to go interrailing around Europe. So this is 2001. And she said, "Well done. I never thought you'd finish. I'm so proud of you." And she bought us a ticket to go interrailing. And we went interrailing around Europe, just getting drunk and chasing international women. And we had signed up to do a marathon that October, and we ended up going traveling in August. And we were meant to train the whole way through. I think we were maybe away July and August. And we were meant to train for the marathon when we were away, but we I don't know, we just forgot to. We never got round to it. So we came back and we had a month left before the marathon. And Steve said, "Why don't we do a detox?" And like, this is more than 20 years ago. So there was nothing there was no internet. So we went to the local library and see if it had a book. And it wasn't like now where there was loads of books on it. They got us a book a week later from the library in Dublin. And it said, "Write brown bread and Weetabix and orange and give up alcohol." It's like, "Oh, well, okay. Well, let's try this, Steve." So for a month we did it. We ate, this is before the marathon, we ate brown bread instead of white bread. We ate bran flakes instead of corn flakes. And we gave up alcohol. And this was the first time we ever thought about it. We'd when we were away that summer, we met these three guys. Two were Canadian, one was New Zealand guy. And they went out and they socialized with alcohol. And that was the first seed, I'd say.
But we went out and we had one of the most fun nights ever. And
without booze.
There was no alcohol, and
it was in Rome.
It was exuberant, and it was childlike, and it was just euphoric, and it was kind of like, it was one of those kind of light bulb like moments where it's like, oh my God, you can socialize, meet people, have a laugh, and it doesn't evolve around alcohol, and you don't have to pay the price of a hangover.
Yeah, amazing.
So anyway,
that was a long time ago. You're so ahead of the curve.
Yeah. So that was 21. We're 22 at this stage, and then we ended up both going away traveling separately. To see what else life had on offer, and we ended up changing our diet to become plant-based and vegan, and got into meditation and yoga and organic farms and all sorts of wild and wonderful things. And then November the 26th 2004, we ended up coming back that year. I think it was 2004, to our home little town of Greystones. We left as these two pint swilling semi-pro rugby players that were essential jocks. And then we came back 2 years later as these long-haired vegan hippies that were starting a vegetable shop. And
amazing.
Started the Happy Pear as a vegetable shop to start a food.
Wow. Oh my God, how amazing. So we'll talk a bit more about the alcohol bit in a minute. But what would you say then is your sort of, what's the kind of bottom line, as it were, for your view on what we should eat now? And certainly in terms of, if we did want to talk about detox for this time of year, what's your view on that? Because I'm guessing it's not brown bread and Weetabix.
Can I go? Yeah. In terms of diet, I think diet can be like religion. There can be many people who are carnivorous or whatever diet it is. But I think in our experience, and we have a lot of courses with lots of different medical professionals, we've a Good Health Revolution course with a consultant gastroenterologist. We have a menopause course with a senior consultant gynecologist. We have a weight management course with a bariatric GP. So we partner with loads of medical experts, and we've realized what
we've had more than 120,000 people through them over the last decade. So there's been loads of people through them.
And we've learned, I guess, time and time again, the impact that diet and lifestyle can have on your overall health. And what we always say is no one's perfect, but to try to eat as much of a whole food plant-based diet as you can. And for anyone who listens and goes, "What's a whole food plant-based diet? I can't buy that in the shop." It's like fruit, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grain. So if you look to the blue zones, which are the 5 areas of the planet where there's the longest living people, typically like they don't live these long, healthy lives because they've special genes, or that they're some super variety of human. It's because the healthy choice is the easy choice. And the health in terms of diet, 95% of the calories they consume are whole plant foods. Versus if you look at the average diet in, say, the UK, it's typically 55 to 60% ultra processed foods.
Yeah, it is.
35 to 40% animal based foods, and typically less than 10% whole plant foods. So I think there's no perfect. It's about doing your best. But the research is pretty clear, the more you can move towards a whole food plant based diet, more beneficial it is for your overall health.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and you're absolutely right. And you know, here in the UK, I mean, I don't know if it's the same in Ireland, but here in the UK, our GPs, you know, are not trained in nutrition. it's the most important thing, but they're not trained in it. I think they get half a day in whatever it is, 5-6 years. So I don't know if that's the same in Ireland. But there's something really wrong there, isn't there? That your kind of starting point is, you know, as you said, you've partnered with medical professionals, and actually what we really need is to equate health, proper health, with food, rather than, you know, as you say, ultra processed foods.
Yeah, and the hard thing is that we live in a food culture, it's an obesogenic food environment. So it's a lot easier to go out and buy pizza and chips and burgers and chocolate bars and Monster energy drinks than it is to actually, you know, buy a whole lot of whole plant foods and cook it yourself. Like, it's the easy choice is the unhealthy choice. Whereas if you look at the New Zealand's the longest living people on the planet, it's, as Stephen said, it's just that a lot of them grow their own veg. You know, they don't have cars, they cycle everywhere. Like, the easy choice is the healthy choice. Whereas in our current first world cultures or most industrial nations, it's a lot easier to eat junk food than it is health food. So it's an epidemic. It's like, as Will often says, if anyone's overweight or ill health, it's probably not your fault. It's just that our current food culture, like capitalism and food, is, you know, we incentivize food companies. They get incentives when they, you know, produce foods that don't lead to our health. You know,
absolutely. And how brilliant that you actually sell these great veg, then, I'm guessing now, because one of the issues is it's not the easiest to get really good fresh food, and you know, and you're right, it's so much easier just to pick up the crap as you hit the supermarket.
Yeah, I guess, like, we started the Happy Pear 18 years ago. And we started with a little fruit and veg. So we started with a little fruit and veg shop with a dream of using it as the HQ or headquarters for a food revolution. It's got grown arms and legs. Like, we have a sourdough bakery, we have a cafe, we have a restaurant, we have a sprout farm, we have a 4-acre regenerative farm. We've
amazing
food products in about 1,000 stores.
But food products. So what do you mean by food products?
So from real food.
So from lasagnas to hummuses to granolas to plant-based burgers based on whole foods to soups to pestos to sauces to pizzas. So we've got a full suite of I guess the whole aim is to make healthy food accessible.
Yeah, fantastic. Tell me about your sprout farm. I'm guessing you mean sprouted seeds as opposed to Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one of my friends, I told him he really needs to have more sprouts. He's like, I hate Brussels sprouts, they give me wind.
Yeah, little baby cabbages. Yeah, no, this is sprouted seeds or sprouted beans. So typically they're between 20 and 30 times more nutritious than the most nutritious veg. And even if you think about it, even if you're to go down to your local farm and get, say, Calabrese broccoli, or you found some organic regenerative purple sprouting broccoli, oh my God.
I had some for dinner last night.
Of course, well, you're so right on, Dave. But they'll cut it, and the moment they cut it, it's decomposing. It's gone from this living vital food that's packed full of enzymes to suddenly it's decomposing. And typically you'll bring it home, put it in your fridge, leave it there for a couple of days, and then you'll cook it. So typically, you know, the nutritional availability of the nutrients in that has disappeared or have reduced significantly. But living foods, right up till the moment you eat them, they're alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Built-in enzymes that help with the absorption of those nutrients, and also those nutrients typically are in more absorbable fashion. So back about 15 years ago, our younger brother was doing triathlons for Ireland. He was looking for anything that would give him the edge. Mom and Dad had come back from this place in Florida called Hippocrates Health Institute. Where they were using kind of diet and lifestyle to help build up people's immune system in terms of terminally ill diseases. And it worked in many cases. So he started getting into wheatgrass and sprouts. And by sprouts, I mean sprouted alfalfa, sprouted aduki, chickpea, sprouted beans and seeds. And he found it really helped him recover, which meant he could train harder, which meant his athletic performance improved. So he was like, wow, this is amazing. Everyone's got to eat this food. This is amazing. So I guess we started a sprout farm, and now we just.
Brilliant. So do you actually sell the freshly grown, the freshly sprouted seeds, or you just how does it work?
Sell kind of alfalfa. We'll sell radish. We'll sell.
God, I need to live near you. Life would be so much easier. Because I tried to buy some I wanted like mixed seeds for sprouting, but you can't get them anymore. You can only get you could buy a bag of mung beans or a bag of alfalfa, but you can't buy mixed ones anymore.
If you buy a 500-gram pack of Aduki or 500 pack of mung and just mix them together,
I just guess mix.
You do.
Yeah, and it really is simple. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know how to do it, just give us the lowdown, because it really is easy, isn't it?
Depends on the type. Like if you're going for sprouted beans, like they're the easiest, like mung.
Mung beans, just talk about the easy ones.
Yeah, mung and Aduki and chickpea are very easy, or lentil. Like mung and lentil are really easy. Simply soak them overnight, so 12 hours, and then drain them into a colander, and then or drain them into a sieve, and then rinse them a couple of times, and then leave them there. And the next day, come back and rinse them again, and the next day come back and rinse them again, and just leave them on your counter, like over a bowl. And within 3 to 5 days, they'll have sprouted nice long tails.
Yeah,
and all that they need is a little bit of light, not direct light, indirect light, and water once or twice a day.
So they don't live in water after the first day they're germinating.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is about, like, many people can spend months kind of germinate their tomato plants, and up they grow, and then a fecking slug eats them.
You
get a harvest every 3 days,
every 5 days.
Every 5 days.
Yeah.
Really cheap. They're growing until the moment you eat them, and you don't have to get your hands dirty.
Exactly. And you can put them in salads or anything, sandwiches, anything.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, so I'd love to know your guys' view on one of the things that I talk about all the time, with people I work with, is the importance of eating really well, whole food, when you first stop drinking, because your brain chemistry is all over the shop, and it's just super important. Would you agree that having that real food particularly when you first stop drinking, is key?
I think it's got two components to it. The first one, it gives you something to focus on, because when you give up alcohol, you need a few things to really focus on. And when you're focused on learning new recipes, oh my God, what is radicchio? What is, where do I get a butternut squash? How do I cook this? And all these various things, like that can be a great focus. So number one, new habits is really important, and cooking could be a great one. And then number two is definitely your whole biology changes. Like it really does, because you're eating, if you shift to, and we're not saying it's all or nothing, like it's, if you start eating more whole plant foods and start stacking the deck in that way, you're going to be eating a lot more fiber. You're going to get a lot more water rich foods. Like fiber doesn't contain any calories, nor does water. They're naturally low in calories. So you will lose weight. You will gain energy. You will have a lot more vitality about you. Your sleep will improve. Even studies, the smallest piece of research in New Zealand put people that were at various different stages of depression on a high fiber diet, plant-based diet. And they found within a short period of time that their moods and emotions and even their medication were reduced quite drastically. So it really impacts your moods as well as everything else.
And even if you think about it, alcohol typically is often used to clean a cut, a disinfectant, because it kills bacteria. And if you look at your gut, where your microbiome lives, which is a collection of bacteria, yeast, archaea, and fungi. So by drinking alcohol, obviously it's not good for your microbiome. Your microbiome is the home of your immune system. 70% of your immune system exists in your microbiome. So by cutting out alcohol, one, you're stopping killing a lot of the good and bad bacteria. And number two, by eating a plant-based diet, you're actually eating a lot of fiber, which is a prebiotic, which is the main food that the bacteria in your microbiome need to kind of procreate and proliferate.
And that's where we come back to eating loads of veg, isn't it? Because the microbiome loves loads of diverse foods, as many different kind of plants and veg and herbs and spices as you can get in there, really.
Yeah, the American Gut Project, where they took stool samples of 14,000 people, and it's ongoing. But they found that the single biggest thing you could do to improve your gut health was to eat fiber-rich foods. And the second part, and only typically 1 in 250 people actually achieve this, is to eat more than 30 different types of whole plant foods per week, or fruit and veg.
But you can add herbs and spices, so it gets a bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, herbs and spices.
But still, typically based on their research, only 1 in 250 people actually achieve this. So as easy as it is, people aren't doing it.
No, very true. I know there'll be people listening who are saying, oh, well, it's all very well, but if you're trying to eat well and you're vegan, where does the protein come from? So how do you answer that one?
I'd say first and foremost, it's not about vegan and vegetarian. It's not, because those have become religious terms. It's about eating more fruit and veg and more whole food. So first and foremost, drop those words, because people go, I'm not one of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
And I could eat a vegan diet and eat vegan chocolate, vegan hamburgers, vegan ice cream.
And it would be really unhealthy.
Extremely unhealthy. Whereas what we're recommending is to eat the majority of your calories are whole plant foods. So the healthy aspect of vegan.
So, but just to answer your question in terms of protein, like if you think about it, like what are the biggest animals in the UK?
A cow.
Elephants?
No. Yeah.
They probably don't grow in the UK, don't live in the UK.
Yeah. Where does a cow get their protein from? Grass and green leaves. Like, and you kind of go, what? But they're massive, and they're like so many times the amount of weight. Their bones must hold so much more. They've so much more muscle. Even look at a horse. What's the horse eat? Grass. Okay. So they eat just grass and leaves, like, and we're humans, like, we're a lot less weight. Where do we get our protein from? It originally, not being smart, it originally comes from the sun. You know, it's a process where the sun shines and it turns it into plants, and animals get it from eating plants. So, you know, protein, your body is amazing. Proteins are broken down into amino acids in your body, and you get protein from everything, really, from apples, from watermelon, from every type of food you eat. Your body turns it into different amino acids. And I'm talking about whole foods really here. So there was the idea that if, you know, an animal food is a complete protein, but your body is so smart,
it can synthesize and combine amino acids from different foods to ensure you get a complete protein. And a friend, Dr. Colin T. Campbell, author of the China study, he tried to do a piece of research whereby if people were eating, you know, a predominantly whole food, plant-based diet, could he possibly come up with a diet that was deficient in protein, assuming they were eating enough food or getting enough calories? And he had to give up the research. So it's kind of generally said, if you're someone that's eating enough calories, the only way you would largely be deficient in protein is if you're eating like kind of 3 or 4 different foods. So it's like
junk food.
I think the bigger issue is fiber. In the UK, typically it's 8 out of 10 people are deficient in fiber. So protein, most people are getting more than enough protein, and probably too much protein, in fact. Whereas fiber, 8 out of 10 people in the UK are deficient in fiber. And fiber, you only get in fruit, veg, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grain.
Yeah, and as you say, as many, you know, raw foods and living foods as you can have, really. Yeah, fascinating stuff. So tell us a little bit about your tips for people who want to ditch the booze. Then you've got an alcohol-free challenge. Tell us a bit about that.
I think it's about, like, if you're curious about it, I'd say it's to jump right in and give yourself, whether it's 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever it is. But I think I'm going to cut down never really works, because then you are the victim of the environment and who you're socializing with. So I think it's much better having a hard edge and going, right, I'm giving it up for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And simply, like, it's not an indefinite thing. It's just you're taking a break to reevaluate the situation, because so much of drinking is just done unconsciously. It is so intertwined with social gatherings in our societies, yet most of us don't question it. And I think the true cost of alcohol is a lot more than the financial cost of it, because there's hangovers, there's your food, there's even thinking further down the line and going, each one of us has dreams, and some of us might want to write a book, or some of us might want to have kids, or some of us might want to be a better parent. And what typically stands in the way of these things is too many drinks on a Friday night,
absolutely,
too many drinks on a Saturday night, or whatever. So it's kind of thinking about these things and getting your head in this situation, and then probably getting support. I think support is hugely important. So if you can get your family on board, if you've got a family or friends, because the biggest insecurities that people have around alcohol is go, oh my God, what will my friends say? I will not be fun without alcohol. Everyone will think I'm boring. You know, what do I do to relax? What do I do to deal with stress? Like, these are the biggest insecurities around alcohol. So it's going, which ones of these are the insecurities that ring most to you? And go, right, well, how can I think about these in advance? And go, well, if it's the friends ones, it's probably going, okay, well, there's a couple of friends I want to talk to and say, hey, I'm doing this. Will you support me? There's maybe if you've got a husband or a wife or a partner or a roommate, talking to them about it. Maybe it is jumping on board, like something like we've got our 28-day alcohol-free challenge. There's loads of them out there. There's loads of support groups. At least with that, you're kind of giving yourself a structure, because as you said, Janey, when you do give up alcohol, you've got more time, and you need to look at other activities. It can be hard because you're forced to look at yourself and go, well, like, what am I interested in? Where do I get fun from?
Yeah, and typically people associate, you know, as teenager, you kind of learn, you go out and you get drunk, and that's where fun happens. And you kind of forget about, at least when we were growing up and you were 12 and 14, a common question you'd ask someone is, what are your hobbies?
Yeah.
Because we all had hobbies. And I think part of finding fun is moving fun, at least the paradigm that fun is getting drunk on a Friday or Saturday night with all your friends, whereas fun could be getting up and going swimming or going for a sunrise run. It could be going dancing at a dance class. It could be painting. It could be, there's many different variations of fun. And it's just to almost take that time to connect with yourself and go, what's fun for me?
How can I get back to the real me? Because often we don't actually like ourselves very much, partly because we're drinking. So yeah, amazing. Oh well, it's just so great. Everything that you've created, it's just so, it was wonderful. It's so positive. So just tell us where we can find more information. I'm absolutely desperate to come. I'm absolute, my new addiction is the sea. Well, it always has been, but but that's a healthy one. So I am desperate to come to your cafe and have a walk by the sea. I can't wait.
Come join me. Swim in the sea at sunrise. We've done it for about 8 years.
Amazing.
And swimming is like cold water exposure. So many people, when they drink, obviously you get a boost in serotonin, and typically your cortisol level will reduce initially, but then it'll increase. But through swimming in the sea, you get a similar buzz or dopamine release as that of taking cocaine, except you don't get the negative side effect. You get a more sustained release. You get an increase in oxytocin, which is typically your love or connection or friendship hormone. You get increased serotonin, and you typically get reduced cortisol. So swimming is a great buzz. Cold water exposure, deliberate cold water exposure.
Yeah, lovely tip. So just give us your website, guys. And
you'll find us on social media, The Happy Pear, or you'll find us on our website, thehappypear.ie. And check us out. Brilliant. You'll find us on the internet.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Janey. Absolute pleasure.
So thank you, guys. I hope you have a fantastic Easter, by the way. Everyone listening to this, if you're listening to it when it comes out. Some people go back and they listen to every podcast. That's a lot of podcasts. so you might be listening to this many years later. But anyways, if you are listening now on the Easter weekend in the UK, I hope you have a good bank holiday weekend, and get done what feels important to you, and focus on your own health and well-being, because that's going to be the most important thing. And if you can make it to one of our events, as already mentioned, Wednesday, April the 10th in London, Saturday, 20th of April in Hertfordshire, and Sunday, 21st in Hertfordshire. That's for the vision board workshop and the constellations. And then Champneys in Tring, which is also Hertfordshire, on the 18th and 19th of May. So that's everything lined up at the moment, but there will be some online stuff coming as well. So if you're doing this thing, if you are early days doing this, reach out. Of course, I'd love you to join the Sober Club. Of course I would. thesoberclub.com. It's amazing. It's full of great stuff. It's non-judgmental. And yeah, I would say it myself, but it's incredible value. And you can just join us for a month if you want, and then leave if it's not for you. But we've got members who are day one and members who've been with us for years, and they are 10, 13 years sober. So it doesn't matter what it is you want to focus on. There's some support there and some encouragement and some fantastic content. So please join us in the Sober Club if you'd like to. If you don't want to join us in the Sober Club, that's fine. Get some kind of connection. Do something that keeps you inspired, because it's part of your sober toolkit that's so essential to have that inspiration, to have that sense that there are people who've gone before you and they're paving the way for you. And then when you do start to feel wobbly about anything, you've got somewhere where you can reach out. So it is important to feel connected. And if none of that feels right, but you just need to tell someone, then tell me. Tell someone you're doing this. And I don't necessarily mean your partner or your family member. Tell someone who's done it that you are doing it. Okay. So you're very welcome to message me. You can find me easily on any social media. Follow me at Janey Grace. Just message me and tell me that you're doing this, and I'll hold that space for you. I'll hold that vision for you. Right. So drop me a message. And if you want to support this work, then you can sponsor the podcast. If you've got a brand, I always forget to say that, but obviously only the things that I really love. But, I love working with brands who've got a product that completely aligns with what I do. I have my Platinum Awards launched at the moment. So if you are a natural brand or you have a sustainable product or service, then check out the Platinum Awards. Fantastic way of raising awareness for your holistic work that you do. But yeah, check that out, or you can just go to buymeacoffee.com/Janey Lee Grace and buy me a coffee. But as you know, I'd much rather meet you in person for a coffee, and mine will be a flat white. And I hope to get to meet some of you in those events coming up soon. So have a great Easter, and I'll see you same time next week.
Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.